All right, what's up, guys? We are jumping into chapter 23 today. Make sure you guys have your reading buddy. Since we're on chapter 23, that means we're 2 chapters away from 25, which means I'm going to need a response from you guys, okay? So let's jump in. In the end, Eddie didn't go home till Sunday. It took that long to fetch enough food for Aunt Min and Alfie. He raided the teacher's room again and again, relieved each time to see no further sign of the mouse. Min thought he was bringing too much food. Really, Eddie? She protested as she pushed more breadcrumbs through the keyhole. We already have a big stash. Can you get some more licorice? Asked Alfie. The squishers took it away. Alfie, hush, said Min. Eddie just kept gathering more food, not daring to name his worst fear. What if something happened to him on the way home? What if he got hurt or squished and couldn't come back and never got the chance to tell his parents? Dying of squishing would be bad, but dying of slow starvation in a drawer would be horrific. He couldn't leave till Min and Alfie had as much food as possible. Aunt Min may have been thinking the same thing. She waited till Sunday morning to say, in her firmest voice, "Go home, Eddie, now. Eyes open, antennae up. No dilly-dallying, no daydreaming. And Eddie?" "Yes." "Tell your parents I'm sorry. Tell them," her voice faltered. "I will." It was good that the school was empty. Even so, Eddie had to be careful. You never could tell about a school on the weekend. There could be science fairs, band practices, sports games, meetings. There was no way to know. The first part of the journey was easy. Morning. Sun poured through the big front door of Ferny Creek Library, its beams bright with dust motes dancing above Eddie's head. Eddie stared up, entranced, at the secret universe he had never noticed before. He thought of Horton Hears a Who. Were there tiny creatures up there, living on those specks of dust? Did those creatures have families, nephews, aunties, brothers? "A person's a person, no matter how small," said Eddie out loud. He turned toward home. Before he stretched the great hallway, and again, he felt awed by its vastness. He began to walk. He was nearing the halfway point when he spotted a dark blur. Looking more closely, he made out legs, lots of them. "Oh no," thought Eddie, "not you again." But there it was, the spider, that very same stalker he had met before, so tall and fierce, crouched now against the baseboard. It stood right in Eddie's path, waiting. This time, there was no boy. If Eddie tried to walk past it, it would cut him off. He knew it. It would force him back. He couldn't go back. He remembered the mouse. Eddie had faced the mouse. He had faced that mouse and survived, standing taller now. He faced the spider. It didn't move. Was this some kind of trap? Creeping forward, almost into striking range, Eddie began to sense that the spider's stillness was not what he had thought. The closer he got, the more certain he grew. The spider was dead. It had somehow just died on his way down the hall. This should have made Eddie feel better, but as he looked into the spider's strange eyes, he found himself wondering, as he had already wondered about the dead fly and the dust creatures, did the spider have a family? He thought about his own family. He had never been away from them for so long. He hurried on. It was midday when he arrived at the classroom. He paused in the doorway to look for his raisin. Gone. At that moment, the smells of the room, his classroom, his room 19, washed over him. The chalk, the felt marker, the apple cores, the cough drops Mr. Pat Lulo kept in his desk, Frankie the guinea pig who had visited the class in March, only for 2 weeks, but his smell lingered on. Home. A surge of excitement rushed through him. He ran toward the chalkboard, eager to see Ma and Pa and tell them all about... He stopped. Remembered. Aunt Min, Alfie. His feet dragged as he walked the final steps. It was like walking through carpet. And then we'll see you guys back for chapter 24.